Very much, ladies and gentlemen. An impressive agenda you've put together for this program. And I compliment all the participants of the World Sustainable Development Summit and the effort that is being made to engage with experts from different parts of the world to truly work and move towards a sustainable future for the people of India. I was just seeing that the Honorable President is inaugurating it tomorrow. My compliments to you and best wishes. I do hope everything works well. And then as I was seeing some of these subjects that you have deliberated, for example, transitioning to a more efficient HVAC system with low GWP refrigerants, that's something I've been raising with any and everybody who comes and talks to me from the developed world.
So now I will come to you with a plan in which the Indian consumer does not pay more.
Wonderful, wonderful. You know my mind about this. It has to be economically viable.
The LED
Great.
model will work.
The LED model?
Yeah.
Excellent, great, I love that. And I must share with you that Mr. Mathur and I have shared a wonderful relationship. He's been the architect of some of the wonderful work that the Bureau of Energy Efficiency and EESL have been able to do in the field of energy efficiency. And it was with a heavy heart that I let him go to TERI, only so that he could expand his frontiers of his work internationally and bring to India some of the best practices worldwide. And by the way, we are missing you over there. So I'm sure it's TERI's gain, but our loss too. But I'm glad that you're picking up these projects with a great deal of sincerity. It's what now, 42-year-old organization, TERI?
That's right.
42 glorious years of working to bring sustainability or bring consciousness about the environment into the Indian mindset. In the context of traditional India, of course, we were always a very prudent nation in terms of protecting the environment, respecting nature. But in the modern context, I think somewhere along the line, the awareness about a sustainable future was getting lost in the system. TERI was at the forefront of the sustainability efforts, both with the government and with the private sector. I'm delighted that some very good cutting-edge research goes on within TERI. At one point of time, I'd also thought of registering myself at TERI for furthering my own education.
You can still do that.
But it'll have to be very distant education, and maybe mobile-based education will have to be developed for me to benefit from the good work that you are doing there. But we have taken some of these suggestions that have come out of such deliberations, particularly in terms of water management. We are looking at all the mines in India and the thermal power plants. You either processing the wastewater that they take out, or in the case of power plants, using the wastewater duly processed that comes out of the cities. And the initiatives that TERI has been working for over the years, that the world has been guiding us in, are being taken in right earnest. I'm sure your engagement over the next few days in the World Sustainable Development Summit will also enlighten us with newer ideas to implement in our companies and the governments working, and in setting standards for even the private sector going forward, turning into more and more sustainable entities. In fact, I don't see any contradiction between economic prudence and sustainability. I think both of them work hand in hand. More and more companies are also now recognizing this. Only yesterday I was in Chennai at the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. I hope I've got the name right. Because I was struggling between World Business Council and I was confusing myself with the World Economic Forum. WEF. And then I was told that these are both Swiss organizations but don't see eye to eye with each other. I think things like that have to change. We have to get more and more into a collaborative approach when it comes to sustainability. Working towards a better future, a cleaner future, a more conscious future for the world is not something where trade pacts and different organizational pulls, all of these things should not come in the way of working towards a better future for our children. And in that sense, my own working with TERI has been almost seamless. I think they have a walk-in relationship with the government of India. Every initiative of TERI, or for that matter of any well-meaning NGO, has been recognized and respected in our ministry. Of course, we have a mushrooming of NGOs who also have possibly either some extraneous interests, or their interests somehow cannot align with the Indian story. And they seem to be working in some extremely utopian world which doesn't apply to India. We do have to be cautious about such NGOs, and we have enough of them. Many of them come from Europe and America and set up shop in India and create hurdles, even in our sustainability work, by making suggestions which are completely out of sync with our national development imperatives or our own ability to take the sustainability dialogue forward. So we are very delighted with the work that TERI has been doing in this. And I do hope that going forward I'll continue to benefit from all the good work that you're doing. I now have also charge of mines department. And in mines also we are looking at seeing how we can make mining more efficient as a whole, apart from the coal mining. And we are looking at 5-star, 4-star rating of mines, something like what you initiated in the Bureau of Energy Efficiency. And my own sense is that as more and more policymakers and business start aligning their thinking and working on a practical framework, very often while making policy or while giving suggestions, we lose track of the practical reality on the ground. And that's where the problems or the antagonism between good policy and economic business sense tends to sometimes derail projects. I like the way TERI works, where they work closely with business and industry, ensure the applicability or practicality of their suggestions, and then try to work policy around such suggestions which are economically viable and actionable. In fact, a lot of papers are now being written about how sustainability and innovation can work together. I believe the Harvard Business Review had such a paper sometime in 2009, where Dr. Prahlad and Rangaswamy and other illustrious thinkers spoke about why sustainability is the key driver of innovation. And in some sense, I cannot but agree with them. It's very important that we innovate, but we also innovate keeping in mind sustainability. At the same time, when we talk about sustainability, we also see how innovation can help us be more sustainable. It's a two-track effort that all of us need to work on. And I have no doubt that all companies and all governments, big or small, going forward will have to chart out a more sustainable path, both for their businesses and for society at large, for the nation at large. In fact, very often we come up with policy and then we are unable to look at compliance on a day-to-day basis. I would urge business and industry to look at sustainability not from a point of view of compulsion, not from a point of view of complying with laws alone. I wish more and more people, and then once the corporate world and the business world looks at it, we'll actually have to drill it down to the people at large also, to look at sustainability not only from a compliance perspective, but also ingrain it into our working as something that we are all doing out of a passion, out of sheer desire to contribute to sustainability. And I do wish gradually compliance is looked at more as a incidental aspect and not as the purpose of our efforts towards sustainability. That's one area where I thought this argument comes out of this HBR review that came out in 2009. And it'll be good to see compliance becoming more of a formality and actual implementation being our desire rather than the other way around. Similarly, enforcing rules should not be a function of governmental action or like a policing action. I think enforcing rules gradually will have to move into a function where there's more self-policing within organizations. We don't have to have officers from the Bureau of Energy Efficiency going and pointing out that a company is wasteful in its energy consumption. I think there's something which will have to come from within organizations. And if we can actually see self-regulation instead of enforcement of rules through policing, I think that's the way forward for sustainability to really work, particularly in a country like India, in a democratic country like India, where even on a stage of 5 people, we can quickly get into an argument and argue till the cows come home. So the better way forward will be one which is more collaborative and where we all work together in that spirit of ensuring that we follow the rules. Similarly, sustainability cannot be a department in any organization. We have to move out of that system of departmental silos where we create a sustainability department or a environment consciousness set of people working towards that, and again trying to impose that in the rest of the team. Mere posters are not going to get us sustainability. Mere lectures and seminars are not going to make India move towards the path of sustainability. We'll have to ultimately get this ingrained into the whole organization. And that can only come again by, I would think, engaging with people, enlightening them about the impact that each one's effort can collectively result in significant achievements on the sustainability roadmap. And therefore, companies will have to move out of the departmental silo on sustainability and make it literally a part of their processes, end-to-end a part of their processes. And of course, in terms of innovation or in terms of companies which manufacture goods and provide services, will also have to design products and services around sustainability. It's one could be making a toy. One could be making the languages around which our badges are made out over here. Even paper plants, which are manufacturing paper, a cement plant, a steel plant. Everybody will have to look at what they can do to add value into their product, how they can design products which are gradually moving more and more towards sustainability. Plastic is one industry which will have to really address itself into moving towards a sustainable future. In fact, plastic is an area of concern for anybody who's working on the sustainability roadmap. I myself am at a loss to figure out what one should do. I remember at one point of time there was a move to control the usage of thin micron plastic, which is difficult to recycle. I think that movement needs to once again get some more impetus. And again, instead of only remaining in the policy framework, needs to get ingrained in our daily lives. Similarly, Tetra packs and plastic bottles, all of these things are areas where I believe we'll have to redesign and innovate on products so that we can actually move faster up the sustainability index. Similarly, on services, maybe even our restaurant is providing services to its customers. Maybe even this auditorium, how this auditorium is designed to provide us this facility, this service, so we can conduct this program today. Of course, building design is in some sense a function of sustainable designing of services. In today's day and age, we wouldn't design an auditorium like this probably. completely in a closed loop where lighting and air conditioning and everything is the only source of good ventilation or source of light. We are now in the process of designing Akshay Urja Bhavan for the Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And I'm happy to share with you it's going to be a net zero or possibly a positive renewable energy company, building, where we'll be generating more energy and saving energy through better designs, so that net we are positive in terms of our carbon emissions through that building. I'm also designing and have just started construction of a headquarter for my party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, where also we are designing the building so that it's a net positive. Carbon dioxide is not emitted out of there, but on the contrary, we are conserving energy out of that building. And we'll be generating more energy than we use, while simultaneously adding a lot of greenery so that we can create a carbon sink within our headquarters also, right in the heart of Delhi. So that consciousness has to come into all sections of society. And we thought that as a political party today running the government, we will also have to demonstrate that consciousness in our own headquarters. Similarly, now new business models need to be developed. I'm glad the EESL experiment has turned out to be a grand success. These such new business models which create an economically viable model for promoting sustainable development. Of course, we do hope we can look at long tenor, low cost financing. We can look at sharing of technologies, which will help create business models which are economically viable and help to further the sustainability agenda on a fast track basis. We'll also have to look at platforms where newer technologies can be validated, can be encouraged, and can help in this whole effort towards sustainability. It's very difficult sometimes to change the mindset to accept new and radical thinking. But I think that will be equally important if we have to encourage innovation and encourage newer designs, newer products, that we create an ecosystem where out-of-the-box ideas are welcomed and respected. When all of these efforts are put together, my own sense is that's when we'll really be able to fast-track the sustainable agenda, the agenda to have a sustainable development model for our country. I have no doubt in my mind that the initiatives that India has taken forward, initiatives about which Prime Minister Modi is very passionate, be it the smart city agenda, the smart grids that he's trying to propagate, his thrust towards making India more and more energy secure through renewable energy, the fact that we plan to scale up solar power from the 2.4 gigawatts in 2014 when we came into government to 100 gigawatts by 2022, the fact that we are now looking at giving wind and hydro a similar thrust going forward. In fact, I'm very seriously considering whether hydro power, even above 25 megawatt, should at all be outside the purview of renewable energy or is equally renewable. I made some studies and my department reports that most countries take hydro as a renewable energy source, whatever be the size. I don't know what the policy makers maybe 32 years ago had in mind when they kept renewable energy, hydro above 25 megawatt outside renewable energy, but I'm certainly reconsidering that. So all in all, India is going to move towards renewable energy becoming the mainstay of our energy needs going forward. We are ramping it up very rapidly. We have a target to have 40% of our installed capacity through renewable energy by 2030. We are looking at energy efficiency as the fulcrum of our energy security program. We are really focused on making sure consciousness about energy efficiency seeps into every aspect of Indian society, Indian business. And we are very, very confident that with the support of well-meaning people, well-meaning organizations, both nationally and internationally, and bankers both on and off this dais, I have no doubt in my mind that India is well poised, not necessarily to only follow the world's efforts, but to lead the world's efforts towards sustainability. Once again, my best wishes to your program. This business day, I'm sure, would have come out with a lot of ideas. I'll look forward to hearing from TERI about the deliberations of this 3 or 4 day program that you're having. And you have my full support both for this summit and for the work ahead of you. Good wishes to all of you, and in the festive season that we are all in, Navratri, Durga, followed by Dasara, Diwali, my best wishes to all of you and your families for the season ahead. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed, Minister.
Grown ourselves.
Why don't you use the
Matka, well, actually,
it's inside. No, that's
that's the plastic.
We need to change that.
I've been corrected on the spot as I have been many more times. So thank you very much. Take it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
बोल देते हैं